So, for today's card I am going to rely on this reference from Zeph, and for this card I'm going to use the same process as I did last time, where I'm sketching the character, giving them outlines, coloring them in, doing some lettering for the main character trait and their name, and coloring in the background so all of the cards match in the end. As you can see, I've finished the face and the hand off camera again because I was struggling with some of the tiny details like the fingers. I'm pretty sure that I redrew this hand like 5 or 6 times until I got it right. And now I'm just erasing the sketch a little bit to make it easier to color on top of it without the graphite smudging in the end. Because I'm one of those smudgy artists, I just can't draw without graphite getting everywhere, and I think that one of those kneadable erasers is just the perfect thing to do before going in with color, but I think I should have taken away a little bit more of the graphite, but in the end I think it turned out alright, so just keep watching. I ended up switching out a little bit of my color story. I put the bright red back and went for more orangey tones, and I also added in a grey, because one thing that I learned actually from a beauty channel called Hannah Louise Poston, she does like conscious spending kind of content, which I appreciate in this world where a lot of people really focus on like overconsumption in the internet communities. Basically, she said that a lot of foundation companies make the makeup too pink, too olive, and too yellow, when in reality they should be putting in a little bit more grey tones, and I kind of really took that to heart, because for me that's really true, because I have very pink toned skin I think, and one time I put a little bit of grey eyeshadow into my foundation and it matched better than ever, and I think that's also a really good tip to apply to art whenever you don't really know, like if the skin tone is a little bit too pink or too yellow or too olive. I really like to go over it with like a very, very light sheer grey, and sometimes that just mutes it out in a way that makes it look a little bit more natural. I decided this time to start shading with the darkest colors, which is something that I should just get used to in general, because sometimes I get a little bit impatient and just start with midtones and struggling to layer on top of the midtones with the lighter or darker colors. I think like unless you're working with wax-based pencils like these Prismacolors, I think it's actually smart to leave out the lightest colors and just go from light to dark. But I think with pencils like Prismacolors, you can also start from dark to light, which is actually what I personally prefer, because it's it gives you like the most contrast, or like when you start as dark as it gets, basically you can kind of see the tones a little bit better in the midtones, the lighter tones, and it's just easier to get started when you start out dark. At least that's how I personally feel. And I also really like to blend colors with the colorless blender. It's also from Prismacolor, I think, but this black pencil is polychromos, because sometimes I think the colors that I would use for burnishing in the shades don't really match the darkest tones, and then the lightest tones actually, or like the colors blender, obviously is just going to blend the tone that you already have and just make it lighter. And I really like the effect that it gives. Like, it's just nothing, but it makes it look so good, I think. And then later on, I'm still, because these are the wax-based pencils, I still have like the opportunity to layer on top of it, even if I've already laid on an entire base. I could honestly just write like a love letter to Prismacolors. That is my favorite type of pencil. I also have the Arteza pencils, and I think they are similar, but they are not quite as good at layering. I just, honestly, for me personally, Prismacolors are just my favorite. They are the most fun to draw with. They layer the most, they look the smoothest. The only thing is that they definitely break the most out of all of them. Like the quality issues that a lot of people talked about a couple of years ago when I also got them. Like, I'm pretty sure I got these like 4 years ago, when they still had quality control issues from switching the manufacturer. I'm pretty sure that I still got a batch of those ones, but I think it's just individual pencils. Like, maybe some of them are a bit like bad wood quality and some of them are like already the better ones, because I remember being really scared to open the package and to start drawing with them, but I actually didn't experience as much breakage as I thought. But yeah, now I'm going in with the blue shadows, and this, for some reason, shadowing with anything other than grey was really scary to me at first, but shadows actually do have like a little bit of a blue hue, and this just really adds depth without being too harsh, and I'm really happy that I finally got over myself and started shading with blue. I don't know why I was scared to do this, because it looks so much better than what I've been doing before. But yeah, I always think it's like a reward to do the white highlights. I think it's like the most fun. Like, of the entire drawing is just the white highlights. I love it. For this, I really gotta add that I'm a little bit further away from the paper with my eyes than I would be if I wasn't filming it, and therefore I can see the lines obviously, but I can't see them as perfectly as I would if I was just like hanging over the paper like you do in shrimp posture. And I also wanted to add that I didn't forget to fill in the E at the end. For some reason when filming it I forgot to connect it, but in the end, like the finished piece, not in the video unfortunately, but the finished piece, I actually filled out the E. And yeah, I think overall I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I for some reason really like this boring eggshell white as the background, or like just eggshell yellow, I guess. It's not white at all. Yeah, I think she turned out pretty cute. She could obviously be a little bit more defined, a little bit more contrast, but that's just what I'm working on still for myself, for the channel and for uni. And there you got the finished piece, and I hope you enjoyed.